Hi and welcome to episode 8 of Crafts from the Third Floor. My name's Tracy and I am your host today and always, although it has been quite a while since the last time. I'm coming to you from Leicestershire, which is in the middle of the United Kingdom. And I'm currently not on the third floor, I'm in our kitchen. It's a gorgeous, sunny, albeit a little windy day. But the light's a lot better down here, so I thought I would film from here. So first of all, if you are a first-time viewer of the podcast, thank you so much for tuning in. There's a huge amount of choice out there in podcasts, so I really hope that you enjoy spending some time with me. And if you do enjoy it, then please come back for future episodes. If you're a returning viewer, thank you. It's been a very long time, like I said, since the last time that I podcasted. The last podcast that I did was in February while we were on holiday, and I haven't podcasted since then. So it's been about 6 months. It's the 18th of August today, on Friday. So I believe it was about the 18th of February that I podcast, so an incredibly long time. So if you have stayed as a subscriber and have come back for this episode, thank you. I really appreciate it. Obviously, because it's been such a long time since my last podcast, I'm not going to show you everything that I've done. I've got a selection of things. I've got all of my works in progress, but I've got a selection of things that I've finished that I could put my hands on quickly. And also, I'm obviously not going to show you all the acquisitions that I've made in the last 6 months. Primarily because it would terrify me to actually put it all together, and also nobody's going to sit around and watch it for that long. So the only things that I've got to show you today are things that I still had downstairs that I'd received this week. So from this point onwards, it will be, I will show you everything that has come in. But for the sake of everybody's sanity, mostly my bank managers, I'm just going to show you the stuff that has come in this week. So, where shall we start? How about I will do a proper introduction. So if you know me from Instagram, you will know that on there you can find me as Norah George Yarns. I'm the dyer behind Norah George Yarns. You can also find a group for this podcast on Ravelry, and it's the Norah George group on there. It hasn't been particularly active on my part, for that I apologise, but that is going to change. All of my show notes will now be available on there. I will have giveaways and knit-alongs and things, and all that information I will give you at the end, as well as an idea of where we're going to be going forward with this podcast. So mainly you can find me on Instagram. I'm very active on Instagram and also on Ravelry. So how about we get into works in progress? If you do follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I recently bought a sock knitting machine. A lot of people have asked questions about this sock knitting machine. It's an Erlbacher Gearhart Speedster. I ordered it direct from the manufacturer in America and had it delivered about 2 weeks ago. So I'm just kind of getting the hang of how to use it. So what I'm going to do is show you some of the socks that I've knit on the machine, and some of the socks that I'm hand knitting as well. So I will do hand knit socks first. This is a whip that I thought I'd lost. Luckily, I found it. I'm just going to turn the... It's looking a bit bright. So I'm just going to turn it down. Okay, that should be okay. The sun keeps coming out and stuff, so... yes, this whip I thought I'd lost. So the first one is my Weasley Wizard Wheezes socks. This was a surprise colourway that I dyed up a long time ago, striping colourway. And I knit one sock and I thought I'd lost them, but I found them the other day in the cupboard. So this is my Weasley's Wizard Wheezes? Is that the right way around? Who cares, doesn't matter. So, from what I can remember, it was a long time ago, the notes were on Ravelry, but I managed to delete that as well. The rib is in Cascade Heritage, I believe, or at some kind of Cascade sock yarn. I'm thinking like maybe 15 rows of rib, a fishlets kiss heel, and just a rounded decrease on the toe. I haven't cast the second one on, but here's the ball of yarn. You gonna focus for me? So there's the ball of yarn. That's great. There we go. Focus. Thank you. Thank you. So that's the ball of yarn. So hopefully I'll be casting these on very soon. I think they look quite nice together actually. The only thing I'm concerned about is this Cascade yarn is only a merino, so not particularly hard wearing, so whether they'll last, who knows. I don't wear my socks a lot, so I'm hoping they'll be okay. So that is my first work in progress. My second hand knit sock is in its infancy, shall we say, and it's knit from Twisted Limone, and that's Karen. Here's Karen's card. It's going to focus. It's trying to focus on me. Twisted Limone. Come on. There we go. Twisted Limone, and this colourway is Rose Bowl. It's 75-25, and it's 100 grams, 425 meters. And here is the colourway. So it's a beautiful corally orange, pink. That's a light rose pink, I would say, and then a mauve and a purple. And when I said it was in its infancy, I really wasn't joking. I've literally just started the rib. So there's not a lot to show you here. It's trying to focus on me and not the sock. Okay, so there's not much to show. I could have knit these on my machine, but honestly this yarn is so soft and so beautiful, I can't not knit it by hand. I just have to knit it by hand. It's just lovely. I'm planning on doing an afterthought heel with these socks in a contrast, and for this I'm actually just knitting straight from the ball on the rib, which I usually do a contrast rib, but I just want to make the most of this yarn because it's just so lovely. So that's another work in progress. There's a lot of socks, so if socks aren't your thing, then I apologise. So my first pair of machine socks that I'm working on are actually a pair for my mum. They were for me, and then she saw them, and then that was it. So this is knit on the machine. I'll hold it back so you can see. It's a Opal premium, or cotton premium, sorry. I think the colourway is 8892. It's a really lovely colourway. Let's try and get it to focus. You can hear the wind. So the hem, or the rib at the top, it's a folded hem. You can see inside. That is made of a knit picks, and it's a heather. It's a Stroll heather. I can't remember what the colour is, but I use that for the hem at the top, and then I put in an afterthought heel. The afterthought heel pattern that I use is the Curvy Werby one from YouTube, and it's fantastic. You get no holes at the edge where you join your yarns in. And then toe, again, is just my favourite decreased toe. So this cotton yarn is really pretty, and my mum saw them, and they are going on a boating holiday on the Norfolk Broads next week, and she saw them and said, oh, I'd love those for the boat, they'd be really nice to wear. So these lovely shorty socks that were going to be for me have now shrunk by 3 sizes and are now for my mum. So I finished one sock, I've put the toe in on the second, and I've just cut in and started the heel on the second sock. And they hopefully, I think they do match more or less, apart from the hem, which is why these were going to be for me. On this sock I did 30 row hem, and this sock I did 25 because I didn't write it down. And if you know me, my brain is not the best and I'm incredibly forgetful. So not quite matching socks, but not far off. They're okay. We'll take that, we'll take that. So just a heel to finish on these. I'm hoping to get these done for her today because she has been hinting rather aggressively that she would like these socks, please, as soon as possible. I'll show you this. This was a acquisition in the last few months. I did a swap with Natalie from Remembrances Pottery, and she chose some yarn that she wanted and she let me choose 2 mugs, and this is one of them. So I chose, I can't remember what colourway this was, but it's like a very soft pink with the lovely blue-grey butterflies. And then I also have one with socks on. You have to excuse me, I've got I was suffering from a really bad cough and a bad chest last week, and I've still got a bit of a cough, so I have to keep clearing my throat. Apologies. Okay, my next pair of machine socks are these ones. This is a Cascade Heritage Print yarn. I have no idea on the colourway. This is literally, I don't know where the other socks are. Oh dear. Oh, there it is. I was just about to say, trust me, there are 2. These have literally just come off the machine and they do match. So it's a 30 row rolled hem again. How pretty is that? No ends to tuck in. All the ends are knitted in, so all I'll do is just feed that back through the knitting. And then I just knit until I had knit 180 rows. And then to put the heels, to put the toes in, all I will do is on this edge here, after this red section, I will pick up the stitches along here on both socks, and then I will add a contrast toe on both. And my plan, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know my plan is to actually only put toes in on socks, so that I've got a massive stack of gift socks ready that all I'll need to do is pop heels in the right place. So these are the Cascade ones. Gorgeous yarn, very soft, lovely colours. This is like a dusky pinky mauve that's just blowing out completely on the camera, but they're lovely. So that's another work in progress. Luckily, the heels and toes only take me probably 40 minutes per toe and 40 minutes per heel. I actually timed myself on the next pair of socks I'm going to show you. So doing this takes no time at all. So if these sit around like this for a couple of months until they get toes, that's fine. My last sock whip are ones that I actually knit today on a Instagram live. So if you tuned in for that, then thank you. This is my HiyaHiya colourway, and they've come out really quite different. I don't know whether you can see the pooling on this one here, sort of snakes down like a yellowy colour from, if you can see my finger, just follow it down. This one is spiralled a little more, but they still match. Again, a 30 row rolled hem. So pretty. And they have no toes either, because I've literally just taken them off the machine. I timed myself start to finish, from casting on for the hem to finishing on the second sock, and it took me 4 minutes and 23 seconds. So less than 9 minutes for this bulk of sock, and then let's say another hour and a half to put a heel and a toe in on each one. So 3 hours, pair of socks. It's just lazy really, isn't it? Let's have another drink. I'm just checking my show notes. I've made notes. I'm a proper podcaster now. Kind of. Hopefully one day. So my last work in progress is my drift sweater. I don't know whether you'll be able to see. And this is knit in my Stranded Hedgehog colourway, which is a colourway that is inspired by a bag that I made using yarns from Amy at Stranded Dye Works and from Hedgehog Fibres, which is why it's called Stranded Hedgehog. So I'll show you it in the cake. Are you going to focus anytime soon? Here we go. So it's a lovely aqua turquoise with a lilac. It's probably the worst cake to show you, but you get the idea. Let's see if I can find another one that looks a bit better. And it has speckles of pink, turquoise and fluorescent orange. And it's knitting up so nicely. This is a sample that I'm knitting out of my yarn. I'm alternating skeins every 1 or 2 rows. I'm not doing it too religiously, so sometimes I leave it 1, sometimes I leave it 2 rows. I've just separated for the sleeves, and I have knit this much in stockinette. So it's a really nice, I thought it would be a really bright colourway, but actually it's quite subtle and really pretty. And this pattern is just so lovely. I can't remember who the designer is, let me just look it up. But it's a lovely, lovely pattern. I would highly recommend it. I'm just checking on my iPad, this is bad. I should have written it down, shouldn't I? Let's have a look if I can find it. All the information's on my Ravelry anyway. I'm Norah George Yarns on Ravelry as well. Should have said that. Something else I'd forgotten. So let's just check. It's by Kristen Finlay. Drift sweater. No, absolutely love it. It's so soft. This is a new base that I'm going to be carrying in the shop. It's an MCN sock, but instead of it being like a standard ply, it's actually a high twist MCN. So you can see it there. It's really beautiful, really soft. Great stitch definition too. I don't know whether it'll focus this close, but so you can see. It's a really, really, really lovely base. I'm really pleased with it. So that is my drift sweater. I've been on a massive garment kick recently, which you'll see in a minute. But I'm hoping to have this finished, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. And this, I should have showed you the bags that these live in. These are all acquisitions that have been made over, well, since the last podcast. So this is being housed in my Mrs. Moog's bag with a little sheep on the front. This is one of my favourite bags. It has a drawstring top and 2 handles, so you can carry it easily. Also you can, if you wanted to use it as a bucket, you can tuck the drawstring bit inside and then just use it as a bucket. Absolutely love it. It keeps everything safe and secure when you're travelling, and it's probably one of my favourite ever bags. Also, I bought a new fringe field bag. This is in the new charcoal colourway. It's fringe field supply, and I've got 2 pins there from Designs by Wink. So a little seagull, which I thought went really well, and then a cup of tea, because I'm a massive tea drinker. Normal tea. I drink fruit teas and things as well, but just regular strong brew tea. So I believe that is all my works in progress. So I will move on to my finished objects, and you can see some of them hanging up behind me here. So I'll take this one first because I can reach it easily. Excuse me. This is my column tee. It's a pattern by, I believe, Isabel Kramer, but it's a pattern for Quince & Co. And the pattern called for Quince & Co Sparrow, so it was originally designed to be knit in a linen yarn. I knit mine in my sock yarn. So it's 75-25 superwash merino nylon. The colourway is Ollivander's One Shop. So it's a very soft blue with speckles of blue and also some speckles of pink. I don't know whether it will pick up the pink very well. It's got a gorgeous lace detail at the top. The sleeves are sort of exaggerated. And then there's the lace at the bottom as well. And it's a lovely wearable top, not too warm, even though it's knit, obviously, and not in the linen. It's not too warm, and I think I'll just get so much wear out of it. So the pattern, once again, is the Cullum T, C-U-L-L-U-M, Cullum T, and it's for Quince & Co, but by Isabel Kramer, I believe. If that's wrong, I will just pop it up on the screen. My second finished object is another garment, and it's my Penguono, which is so giant you can't see it. So now hold on. So here's my Penguono. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen this. I knit this in exactly 4 weeks. It's knit, I'll show you the welts close up. It's knit primarily in 3 strands of fingering weight held together. So moss stitch detail on the back. With welts either side and panels coming off. It's such a clever design. I'll just pop it on so you can see. One of my most favourite things I've ever made. Gorgeous. Let's show you a close-up of the neck. I really need to sew that hole together. Let's just pretend that's not there. That's so lovely. So the yarns that I used in this, I used some stranded dye works. Let me see if I can find. The stranded dye works is here, and that was Amy's Paradise Base, which is an MCN fingering weight in Nougat. I used, oh, it's thundering, that's interesting. At the bottom there is a knit away in, I believe, Kimono. I used some commercial yarns as well, and some mohair, whether you'll be able to see the halo on that, but there's a mohair held here as well. Lots of scraps of yarn that I had lying around. There's also some hand spun. Let's see if I can find it. The 2 panels at the bottom, or sorry, I think the 3 panels. That was some hand spun by Kelly Browning over at Witch Fibre Co that I bought a long time ago. So this is hand spun in moss stitch. My dad's outside. He's going to think I'm talking to myself. He's dragging a rug down the garden. If you know my dad, this will come as no surprise. He does unusual things like this all the time. Yes, he's dragging a rug down the garden. And my final garment, we'll move on quickly, is my pavement sweater. So I knit this over the summer while I was on holiday. The pattern is by Vera Valamarki. And I knit it entirely out of a Cosmic Strings yarn. So this is a test of my memory, whether I can remember what the colourways are. The top one is Blue Moon, which fades into Lemon Sherbet, I believe. Let me just change the focus so you can see. Lemon Sherbet, which fades into Sugar Rush, and Marshmallow. Sorry, my camera cut off. I forgot it only lasts 25 minutes. So we'll try and hold it back so you can see. 4 different skeins of yarn. I didn't use the whole of each 4 skeins. I think this weighs about 320 grams of fingering weight yarn. So we're talking 1300-ish meters of yarn. And it's stunning. It's such a lovely fit. It's comfortable, it's lightweight. I can't remember what needles I knit it on. I think it was 3.5 mil, but the fabric's got a beautiful drape. Just trying to focus on my face. I'm gonna have to put my face right next to it. It's got a lovely drape. I love the colours. The yarn is just a delight to work with. Fu and B of Cosmic Strings do some of the most beautiful yarns. Look at those speckles. I love the pooling and the striping in this section. And this blue is just so gorgeous. So that is my pavement sweater. And it's just started thundering and raining outside. So if you can hear some weird noises, it's not my dad moving furniture down the garden, which he also does. It's the thunder. As an aside, if you didn't know, we live next door to my parents, who live like well, probably 10 yards that direction, so not too far. Okay, more finished objects. I have a pair of socks. This is West Yorkshire Spinners yarn, their signature 4-ply sweet range in Sherbet Fizz, I think. These were knit on the machine. And it's also West Yorkshire, I've already just said it, West Yorkshire Spinners for the cuffs, Afterthought heel again, and a toe. I completely messed up the hem on these. I'm not afraid to show you, but I had to thread some waste yarn through to hold the stitches down. When you roll the hem up on the machine, you have to pick up stitches from the first row of your cuff and lift that stitch onto the needle with the current stitch to create the folded hem, which I didn't do on these. I picked up a stitch from a different row, which meant it just came apart. But these are for me, so it doesn't matter. I've also got some drop stitches that I had to fix on the machine, which I'm not particularly good at. But they're for me, they're socks, they're functional, they're soft, they've been blocked, they smell lovely. I used some new wool wash with these, some that I picked up from Fibre East when I went there a few weeks ago. It's Romney Marsh Wool's liquid wool wash, and it's an apple blossom smell. They smell lovely. So that is those Sherbet Fizz socks. We're still going. These I finished, I started these when I went to Edinburgh for the Edinburgh Yarn Festival. This was a sock blank that I'd made up from some Pigeon Roost Studio yarns, and I overdyed that yarn to make some shorty socks, and I had some plain that I used for the heel. And obviously my yarn management skills leave something to be desired because they don't quite match. So I ran out of the colour that I'd overdyed and ended up with this as a second sock, which, you know, they don't match, but hey. I actually did one repeat here of the Pixel Rise pattern. I believe it's by Kemper Ray. If I'm wrong, I'll put it in the notes, just to fade in the toe, which I think actually looks quite cute. And I had forgotten about that, so I might actually try that again, because I quite enjoyed doing that. So just a pair of shorty socks. They run 2.5 mil, 9-inch circular ChiaoGoo needles. 68 stitch cast on is what I do when I do 2.5. I believe 10 rows of 2x2 rib, fishlets kiss heel, and a rounded toe. I really like that toe. That was done in a completely different yarn. It was just a leftover yarn. I believe it was a Manos del Uruguay, but I'm not sure, but I just thought it looked quite cool. That's another pair of socks. And third pair. These I cast on the last time I podcast, which was in February, and I only finished them a couple of weeks ago. These are Knit Picks Felici in Saltwater Taffy colourway. The pattern is Vanilla Latte socks, which is a free pattern on Ravelry. So I did a 2x2 rib. These again are knit on 9-inch circulars. I believe these are 2.25. I did, on one sock, I did a Eye of Partridge heel, which did not come out very well at all. I don't know what I did wrong. And the other sock, it just didn't come out at all. So one sock's got kind of an Eye of Partridge heel, the other sock's got even less of an Eye of Partridge heel. You can just see the pattern if I hold it like that. For me, they are the best. A heel flap in gusset is the best fitting sock for me. I've got a high instep, so I need this extra space created by having the gusset there. Excuse me. But for ease, I've been doing Fishlets Kiss, but I do actually prefer to do this. A Fishlets Kiss is a pattern by Socks Therapist, and I think you can download it for $1 off Ravelry, and it's well worth getting if you wanted an easy heel to do. It's a short row heel. Really nice and easy to do, and easy to do on the go as well. When I do a Fishlets Kiss heel, I can still do it on a 9-inch circular, so I don't need any additional needles. So you can just knit on, say you're doing a vanilla sock, put your heel in straight away and carry on, which is a lot easier. My next pair of socks are incredibly long for me. I prefer shorter socks, but I love this yarn so much I wanted to make the most of it. This yarn is a Cozy Knitter, and it was one of her club colourways. I can't remember from which month, but it's called A New Day. And it's a lovely striped yarn. Focused? Yeah, peeping through. A lovely striped yarn. I did, it comes with an 85-gram skein of the main colour and a 30-gram skein, I believe, of the contrast. So I've got a 18 row, sorry, 2x2 rib. And then I used an afterthought heel for these because I wanted to just keep knitting. So it's an afterthought heel, and again a rounded toe, and these were knit on a 2.25mm 9-inch circular as well. So really lovely socks, really soft base. A bit long for me, but it's nice to have some long socks, I guess. And the last pair of socks I'm going to show you, one more finished object after this, are some socks that I knit on the machine for Ben. This is a Knit Picks Felici in Witch's Brew, and the contrast is also Knit Picks Stroll in Electric Blue. So again, rolled cuff or hem. So these were the second, I believe the second pair that I did on the machine, and I just kept knitting the whole 50-gram ball. So knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting. They are so long. I think that might be too long, even for men's socks. So what I'm planning to do is probably take them back to their black stripe maybe, pick up the stitches and put a ribbed hem in. Because I think, honestly, that's probably long enough. What I've got, who cares? It doesn't take long to do. So 2 of those. I should have put them on sock blockers, but I didn't think. Again, afterthought heels, because that's what I'm doing at the minute with the machine. You can do heels on the machines, but I'm sorry, I keep my thumb right in the way. But I can't do it yet. I just want to get good at making the actual sock. And again, a rounded toe. You focus? There we go. Again, just a rounded toe. So they are Ben's first pair of hand knit socks, even though they're not hand knit technically, they are machine knit, and they're too long, and he hasn't even tried them on yet. My last finished object is this. This is also a sample. It is the Aspen hat, and I cannot remember who it's by. Melissa somebody, I'm sorry, let me check. Just hold it up so you can see. I knit this out of my Aran weight yarn, which is 100% superwash merino, and I held it double with some mohair. So the colours that I used was, the Aran is a pink speckled with red, that colourway is called A Little Bit of Love, and then the mohair is actually like a rich purple in blackcurrant. So the pattern has 2 different cables, this cable and then this cable, which I think looks like a spinal column, which is a really bizarre thing to say, I appreciate that, but it does, but it's so pretty. And it's by Melissa Schwartz. Yeah, I can't pronounce that, I'll put it on there. It's a lovely hat. I adapted the pattern because I was playing Yarn Chicken. I did have 20 grams left, so I could have made it bigger, but I don't like slouchy hats, I prefer beanies. So I'm really happy with it. But this is, again, is a sample. And you might be wondering what all these samples are for. So I have my Cullum tee and this that I have made so far. So these are samples for a show that I'm doing, which will lead nicely into what I'm going to say next. I am doing the first Nottingham Yarn Expo in November. It's the 11th and 12th of November. They have an Instagram page, Nottingham Yarn Expo, if you want to follow them. All the information on vendors and everything is on their website. So it's my first show, so I thought, you know, I might as well get some nice samples made up. So I've made some, and also some very kind people volunteered to make me some things too, and I've been really lucky to have a couple of them back, so I thought I would show. So first of all, I have this gorgeous fleecency hat that was made for me by Tracy. Thank you, Tracy. Actually, all the Tracys I've got things from. Me, Tracy and Tracy. The cables on this hat are gorgeous. This is knit in my MCN DK and the colourway Sugar Plum. And Tracy had enough left over to make a little pom-pom. It's a detachable pom-pom too, so I can wash the hat. I will show you it on. It's a gorgeous hat, absolutely gorgeous hat. It's so soft. And I think maybe you could turn the brim up, because I like a shorter hat. I've not tried this, this might not work. I might be setting myself up to fail here. Nope. How cute is that? So thank you, Tracy, for knitting this for me. It will be a sample. It will also live on my head in the winter. That little pom-pom. This is so cute. I love it. Thank you so much. I love, you can see my wonky, I've got wonky eyes. Ignore my wonky eyes, please. The cables on this hat are just so lovely. They're not actually cables, Tracy said, they're like mock cables, they're just so pretty. So this is the fleecency, ooh, fleecency hat. I'll put all the details in the show notes on Ravelry and down below. You can see it's so lovely and beautifully knit. So thank you, Tracy. Are we going to focus? There we go. So I have two hats, a sweater. I have another sweater that somebody's knitting, but I also had this, and this was a complete surprise and a gift from my wonderful friend Tracy in Canada. This is the Rune shawl. She is a test knitter for Helen Stewart for the Shawl Society too, so this is one of Helen's patterns, and she knit it out of my BFL silk base, and the colourways are pollen, which is obviously the yellow, and then raspberry, which is the pink. And this shawl is amazing. You can't see it very well because the light's blowing it out. If I hold it double, you might be able to see, yeah, a bit better. It's a gorgeous pattern by Helen, as always. Amazingly well knit. It's so beautiful. And this came as a surprise for my, as a gift from Tracy for my, for Norah George Yarns' first birthday, since I went full-time doing Norah George Yarns. So I'm just going to show you. It's a gorgeous sized shawl. I'll just show you. It's beautiful, beautiful drape. This yarn base is lovely. Great for shawls. Even though it's BFL, it's not scratchy at all. It feels lovely. It's soft. It's got a beautiful sheen. And the sun's coming out again. Weather here at the moment is just crazy. I don't know whether you'll be able to see the sheen on the yarn, but it is just lovely. It's not a base I carry all the time. Mainly a custom order base, but I do occasionally have it in the shop. But I love it. So if you come to see me at the show, you'll see this shawl on display, or maybe on me. And I will have some BFL, so I'll have lots of different bases at the show and lots of colourways, old colourways and one-of-a-kinds and things. So that was the Rune shawl by Helen Stewart, knit for me by Tracy, so thank you, Tracy. I'm going to go on to acquisitions now. I'm just looking at the time. I don't want to go on too much. So one acquisition that I received this week that I'm utterly in love with are these bowls. These are by Crayon Chick, and that's Michelle, who's based out of Australia. She's got an Instagram page, Crayon Chick. She hand weaves these bowls. You can see the label. So this is the medium size bowl, and then I got a small one as well. I'm using it as a yarn bowl. It's a perfect size. And then this is I'm using as a little notions bowl. I think there's a label there too. Crayon Chick. So they're perfect size, really beautiful. They nest nicely as well, if you want to nest them too. So that is one I'm really pleased with. What else have I got? I've got a bag down here of things that arrived recently. A beautiful project bag from Tracy over at Thimble and Thread Makes, I should say. It's a lovely boxed bottom bag. With little storm clouds and rain that she's appliqued on, which is beautiful. And I also have a notions pouch from Tracy that I'm using. It's in another bag somewhere. So it's a lovely bee pattern fabric with a clear bit on the front, so you can actually see what's in your notions pouch. I had two orders actually, come from my gorgeous friend Amber over at Makers Haven, and I've taken these out to have a good look at them, but I will just show you what I got. That's 4 and 5. So if you don't follow Amber, do it straight away, both on Instagram and YouTube. She does the most beautiful podcast. So I'm going to go through each colourway. This is called October Gave a Party. Focus. And it's a gorgeous mix of burnt oranges and golds with brown, touches of purple. And this is on her soft sock base, which is a 75/25 superwash merino nylon. This next one is Haunted House, which is beautiful burnished orange on gold, yellow with purple. And that's again on Amber's soft sock base. Look at the colours there. So beautiful. And this one. And this is called Midnight Talks. It's a lovely soft lilac with splashes of teal and darker lilac and purple. It's lovely. That's again on her soft sock base. And this one is Almost Fall, which is a gorgeous red russet and some purple in there too. And then down here there's like a gold and like a goldy green colour with some orange inside and some blue speckles. It's just gorgeous. And the last one is called Rhinebeck, and this is on Amber's simple sock base, which is an 80/20 superwash merino nylon on a high twist. You can see. I love high twist, it gives such a great stitch definition, and also nice and a lovely base to knit socks on. So this Rhinebeck colourway is, I would say, a dusky plum or dusky mauve colour. And then there's patches of teal and like a concretey grey beige. Oh, it's just lovely. It's not really doing it justice calling it that. And then there's deeper tones as well. It's just lovely. I love all of these, Amber, and these will all be socks. She said, oh, I can't wait to see what you make. They will all be socks. I'll probably do them on the machine so that I can at least definitely wear my October Gave a Party and my haunted house in time for Halloween. So that's those from Makers Haven. I also have, these yarns arrived from Peach Queen Yarns. They're still in the packets. They just look so lovely, I didn't want to take them out. So these are self-striping yarns, and Jessica said I was her first UK customer. So this one is Magic Carpet. Whether you'll be able to see, probably not. Magic Carpet, and You're Welcome. This one's a Moana reference, which is why I had to buy it, because the kids are obsessed with Moana. So this might be kiddie socks. They can both have a pair. And finally, where's the last one? This one is Poor Unfortunate Souls, which is a reference to The Little Mermaid and Ursula. And they are so lovely. So thank you so much, Jessica. I actually messaged Jessica to say, I'm trying to order your yarn, but you don't ship to the UK. And she very kindly fixed it for me so that I could. Another purchase I made was actually through Craftsy. I was catching up with Jodie and Tracy, the Grocery Girls series on the Craftsy YouTube channel called Off Our Needles. I was gonna say Off My Needles, it's not Off My Needles. And they were knitting the Zadie sweater, and you can actually buy it as a kit. So I did. And this is the yarn that I got. It's Cloudborne Fibres in their Highland worsted. The colour is 013, which is like a lovely aqua blue. I'll insert a picture of the sweater here so that you can see what it looks like, but the kit was 50% off. Beautiful. So I've got, I believe, 6 skeins of this gorgeous yarn. And I will be knitting that very soon. It's a lovely high twist, super soft and bouncy, and it's 100% fine Highland wool, very soft, gorgeous yarn, and I cannot wait to knit it. It's a raglan with cables up the raglan sleeves just here, so I cannot wait to make that. Sorry about that, guys. I had to have a little break. Somebody's come to repair the steps outside, and they were using like a stone cutter. So dust and noise, and yeah. So back to acquisitions. I have wanted one of these for ages, and my lovely friend Emma, who is Eldenwood Craft on Etsy and on Instagram, Kept showing them off, and I kept waiting for her to update. And then I saw her at Fibre East a few weeks ago, which was lovely because we've been friends online for a long time, and it was so amazing to meet her and everybody else there. And I said, oh, when are these bags going to be in your shop? And she said, oh, you know, they're quite hard work to make and things. And I thought, well, I'm not going to ask her to make me one in case I don't get one in the update, but she did offer, which was lovely. But I managed to get not one, but two. So here they are. If you've not seen these already, you're going to want one, but there aren't any available. So it's a disclaimer before I show you these. If you can hear banging, they're fixing the steps still, but at least we've not got a cutter going on outside. This is Emma's sheep bag, and it's huge. Sweater size bag. Look at that little face. So I got this one, which is a zip opening. There's Emma's label. Eldenwood Craft. It's got a great pocket inside. Loads of room. Perfect sweater bag. I haven't even been able to bring myself to use these amazing bags yet. Well, one is actually going to be a gift. Maybe. Should be. That was the intention. So this is the drawstring version, which has got two little faces on it. I love drawstring bags. Look at this. How cute is that? Beyond adorable. And again, this has got an interior pocket like the other one. So these amazing bags, I'll show you the back, are by Emma of Eldenwood Craft, and just, I love it so much. I actually just want to put it somewhere just so I can look at that little face. He looks so lifelike, doesn't he? Happy and sheepy. Oh, love it. Gushing now. So that is the end of my acquisitions. That was what came recently and what I could put my hands on. So from this point forward, you will see acquisitions that I get. So going forward, you might be wondering what will be going on with this podcast. It will not be a 6-monthly podcast, hopefully, she says. I'm going to aim to do it every 2 weeks. I would love to commit to doing it every week, but with the kids off school at the moment, and then when they go back to school settling into a new routine, I think maybe every week would be a bit too much pressure for me at the moment. So I'm going to try every 2 weeks. If I can do every week, great, but it might sort of swing between 2 and 1 or maybe 3, but it will be more regular. I will do at least 2 per month. That is the aim. So I can keep you up to date with shop updates and obviously what I've been making and things like that. So fingers crossed, and bear with me if it is a bit up and down. It's not intentional. It's just me being busy, and you know, trying to work full-time from home is hard. Because when you're at home, even when you're working, there's so many other things that need doing. I can hear the washing machine is now beeping because that's finished, and then the dryer needs to go on, and you know, it's just, anybody who works from home knows what it's like. It's quite stressful sometimes. I also had time to make fresh tea. I did wash my cup as well, in case you're wondering. I just love that cup, it's my favourite. So, moving on to shop news. Since I moved my shop onto my own website, I now try to update the shop as I dye things. So I update the shop a lot more regularly normally. This month I haven't, because with the kids being off school, it's just been a lot of hard work. So I've had my normal clubs running for pre-order. My clubs will now open once a month on the 10th of every month. So that will be the Minis Club, and the Great Characters of Literature Club will be on the 10th of every month at 8 PM BST or GMT. So BST is what we're in at the moment, which is GMT +1. And then after the end of October, it will go to GMT. So that will be on the 10th for those 2 clubs. My next club, which is September, is based on the character of Dracula, from the novel Dracula by Bram Stoker, and the Minis Club will also be inspired by that novel. So the clubs will go together, and now that they're both released on the same day, you can purchase them both together and have them shipped together, which is a lot easier for you and a lot easier for me, rather than, because what I was doing is going through orders, trying to pair up if people have bought both and then holding things back, and it just got too complicated. So from now on, both on the same day, both inspired by the same novel, but one will be just a character and the other will be little bits and pieces. I will also have round 6 of Mrs. Wheezes Knit Club. That runs October, November, December. The subscription for that will open on the 1st of September at 8 PM BST. Mrs. Wheezes Knit Club, if you didn't know, is a 3 monthly subscription. You get 3 skeins of sock yarn on my super sock base, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It's 100 grams, 425 meters. You will get 3 different skeins of yarn, which can be used independently or will complement each other. They are based around a theme from Harry Potter. So the club that's going on at the moment, round 5, is Charms class. And the last instalment of that one is September. So the next round will be October, and the theme is always a surprise until you get your first skein of yarn. So if you wanted to join that club, spaces are limited to 50 now. It will open on the 1st of September, so get in there quick. It's one of my favourite clubs to dye because it really pushes my creativeness. Sorry, my phone's just gone off. I always worry in case it's something to do with the kids. So it pushes my creativity to think of, firstly, a theme, and then 3 things within that theme, and then how I can get those 3 yarns to work together. So I love it, and it gives me a chance to experiment and create new ideas and new dyeing techniques and things. So that's a great club to be in if you are interested in something like that. In terms of shop updates, this month they've been thin on the ground. I've had my usual 2 clubs to dye, as well as my Mrs. Wheezes Knit Club. I have also done birthday cake pre-orders, which was a limited edition celebration of my first year as a full-time dyer with Norah George Yarns. Those pre-orders will go out next week. The yarn is dyed and waiting. I'm just waiting on some little extra things to put in the parcels. So they will go early next week. So that will be sort of 21st, 90, yeah. Sort of the week starting the 21st of August, they will go out. I mean, you'll get, if you've ordered one, you'll get a shipping notification. So my only update this month will be next Friday, which is the 25th of August at 8 PM BST. I've been dyeing a lot this week. I should say we've been dyeing a lot this week. I have a lovely person on board with me now, Gemma, who I love and who's doing an amazing job of getting orders out to everybody and helping me out with the dyeing, and it just has made life so much easier. She brings cake. She brought cake this week. I was having the worst day and she brought cake, and she didn't know I was having a bad day, so that just makes her even more amazing. So what we have been dyeing, I'll just drop one, yarn, that is. We won't go there. Okay, first up I have Room of Requirement. And this is on my super sock base. So this is a Harry Potter one. Harry Potter ones are few and far between these days. There's going to be quite a few in this next update because I haven't dyed them for ages and I've missed dyeing them. So this is Room of Requirement. It's a lovely yellow base with orange and purple and brown speckles. I have, and that will be on super sock. It will be on 100 gram skeins and 50 gram skeins too. Sorry, my throat's really sore. Okay, next up, Toffee Apple, which is a natural base with speckles of orange and this gorgeous apple green. If it's going to focus. I've said that a lot, haven't I? Apologies. There we go. And this lovely appley green at the top. That is Toffee Apple. And this is Vintage Rose. It's a lovely pink, peach, purple, yellow, orange with some lovely purpley speckles as well. And that will be on 100 grams Super Sock skeins. Minerva McGonagall, which has had a bit of a facelift. Sorry Minerva, it's nothing personal. Let's try and get it to focus on the yarn. So this is a lovely purple and pink green speckled yarn. And at the moment, this is available on 100 gram Super Sock skeins. A new colourway, this one is Witch Head Nebula. And Witch Head Nebula, in case you're wondering, is part of Orion's belt. I do not profess to know anything about space. I googled something. I knew I wanted to name it after something to do with space because it just reminded me of intergalactic something or other. And then I came across a picture of the Witch Head Nebula and it's this colour. So this is available on 100 grams and 50 grams. Next up is Aragog, which is the colourway that I showed you earlier that I knit up on the machine. So Aragog is browns and dirty yellow, I would call it, dirty yellow green and some beigey colours with red, pink and black speckles. I have Crookshanks, which is a glorious pumpkin-y orange, gingery orange with brown and green speckles. It's a bit darker than it's showing up on the screen. So Crookshanks is available on 100 grams. Aragog is 150 gram skeins. This is Hermione and the Basilisk. Wait to focus. This is a dusky mauve base with green and mauve speckles. It's a bit darker in life than it's showing up. The speckles on this one, I love them. It's one of my favourite colourways, even though I'm not a big fan of purple, I just love this colourway. So Hermione and the Basilisk is on 100 gram skeins. I have another new colourway. This is Snowstorm. Snowstorm is a gorgeous, soft dove grey with mauve speckles. Super simple. Glorious garment colourway, which is what I dyed it in mind of. Oh God, they're mowing the lawn. I'm sorry for all the noise. Clearly Friday is not the best day to podcast. So anyway, yes, Snowstorm. Snowstorm is available on 100 grams and 50 grams. Dumbledore's Army, which is one of my favourite colourways. This is a tonal grey base with grey speckles. Another great garment colourway. This one's on 100 gram sock skeins. And finally, this is Ginny Weasley. And she is a mix of soft green, peach, yellow, purple, blue and pink with purple speckles. She has also had a facelift. She never had speckles before, but I decided she needed the speckles. So that Ginny again is available on 100 gram skeins. I've got plans to dye a lot more this week, so hopefully I will have, I have sweater quantities of all of these yarns on 100 gram skeins. I will also be dyeing them on DK as well. I'm not sure which colourways yet, but I do have a blog post on the run up to each structured update. I have one structured update a month, which is the last Friday. Noise! I'm just trying to hope that you can hear me and I'm going to shout a little bit louder. Or maybe I'll just wait. Admire the mug for a while. The dust outside. Okay, I had to stop. So we'll carry on. Yes, sweater quantities. I will have sweater quantities on DK and sock. but I will, before every structured update, which is the last Friday of every month at 8 PM BST or GMT, I will have a blog post on my blog at NorahGeorgeYarns.com detailing what yarns will be in the update, what bases they will be on, and also images of those, and they will be correct up to the lunchtime on that Friday. So it'd be lunch 12 noon on that Friday. So keep checking that blog post for information of what's coming up. I've had a lot of people ask if they can pre-order or reserve yarns, and while I would really love to be able to do that to make sure that everybody can get what they want, if I did do that, then it would leave a lot less available in the update. So it's not something that I can do. From September, I will be opening up 5 custom order spots per month. I'm not going to open them officially on the website. If people get in touch with me, if they're interested in a custom order, then I can say yes or no, but I will have spaces available every month. It will be a 2 scheme minimum order though, just to try and fit it into my schedule. It has to be something that's not just one odd scheme, because it's actually harder for me to make the time to dye one. If it's something that I can dye more of, it actually makes life a bit easier for me. So custom order slots will be available. If you're interested, either message me on Instagram or Ravelry, or drop me an email, NorahGeorgeShop@gmail.com. So that is really all that I was going to cover. I was going to do some mindless chatter at the end, but I'm mindful that we're at an hour nearly already. So I'm probably going to leave chatter to next time. I do chatter a lot on Instagram anyway, so if you're interested in what's going on with me or us or anything like that, you can find it on there. The children go back to school. Well, Finn starts big school on the 4th of September, and Pippa starts in the nursery. So I'm going to have 4 days a week without children, which I'm hoping means my yarn dyeing output will increase quite a lot. So that's why I'm going to have that one structured update a month on the last Friday, and then I will just update as I dye throughout the month. So hopefully the shop will always have things in it. I have some exciting things coming for the shop too, but I'm not going to go into that too much. And I will leave all of the rest of that information for the next time I podcast, because hopefully I'll have more time, because I won't have so many finished objects and works in progress to show you. So all that leads to say really is thanks so much for joining me. Apologies for the huge delay between episode 7 and 8. Going forward, every 2-ish weeks, podcasts might be structured like this, or they might be like a video blog of things that I've been doing throughout the week, as well as a little chatty bit at the end. I'm just not sure. So every week or every episode will probably be slightly different. But once again, thanks for joining me. Thanks for your patience in waiting, and I really hope that you'll come back and see me next time. Bye.